Okay.
Move your bill.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome, Senator. You may proceed. You have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and you're the only ones, and members. I'm here today to present SB 1416, which will establish the Revive the Salton Sea Fund checkoff on the state personal income tax. In May 2015, Governor Brown created the Salton Sea Task Force to begin the important work of implementing the Salton Sea Management Plan and create short and long-term goals to protect the regional air quality and the natural resources of the sea. This will be a monumental task, bringing together local partners and state agencies to restore the Salton Sea. As California's largest lake, about 90% of the fresh water that flows into the Salton Sea comes from the agricultural runoff from the Imperial Valley. There is a deadline. In 2017, it does not require that the Imperial Irrigation District continue to allow water to run into the Salton Sea. So this could very well mean that the Salton Sea will dry up and people across all of Southern California will feel its consequences. The consequences of inaction will be environmental and an economic disaster to the region, specifically my constituents within the 28th Senate District. The economic impact of doing nothing has been estimated to be anywhere from $29 billion to $70 billion over the next 30 years. The legislature has found creative ways to help raise funds and awareness for the Salton Sea restoration. A Salton Sea specialty license plate has been authorized, and another way Californians can help to assist in this effort is through SB 1416. SB 1416 is designed to complement the ongoing work of the Salton Sea Task Force by creating the Revive the Salton Sea Fund, which will be a tax checkoff fund found on one state income tax form. The money collected from the checkoff would be used to help fund the restoration and maintenance of the Salton Sea and provide public awareness. I want to thank the committee staff for their help and assistance on this bill. I know we have some amendments planned to help conform SB 1416 to similar checkoff bills that have been passed out of this committee in prior years, which we will gladly take. And should this bill be fortunate enough to pass out of committee today. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would ask for an aye vote. Thank you for allowing me to present the bill.
Witnesses in favor, please.
Good morning, Chair. Katrina Robinson here on behalf of Audubon, California. We're in strong support of this bill. The Salton Sea is teetering on the edge of ecological collapse at the moment, and with negotiated inflows of water into the sea expiring in 2017, there will be impacts to both public health, the environment, and the economy for the region. First, exposed shoreline will create dust storms, and that has the potential to increase asthma and heart disease, both of which are already high in this region. And second, the Salton Sea is home to over 270 species of local birds and hundreds of thousands of species of migratory birds that fly from Mexico up to their weathering areas in Northern California and Canada. And these birds use the Salton Sea as a resting spot, and especially as 90% of the wetlands in California over the last century have disappeared, this is a very important spot for migratory birds. Third, fish die-offs when the sea shrinks will cause nuisance smell for the LA basin and for the region, and that, including the dust storms, will have negative economic impacts on the region stretching down to Palm Springs and could even impact the Southern California region and the city of LA. The governor, as the senator mentioned, has been working on a Salton Sea task force to address these issues in a timely manner. We are very excited to be working with him and hope that that will be a fruitful effort. We're having hearings on a monthly basis on this issue, hoping to meet the 2017 deadline. And for these reasons, we are very excited about this creative way to potentially put more funding toward restoration at the sea. We really need every penny we can get. So thank you very much to the senator, and we support this bill.
Thank you. Other witnesses in favor, please come forward.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Juan de Lara from Coachella, California. I am the president of Revive the Salton Sea, and I'm here in support of the bill. I echo all the words that have been spoken already, and I hope that we hear an aye vote from you. Thank you so much.
Other witnesses? How about witnesses opposing this measure? Having concerns? Questions? Seeing none? Senator, would you like to close?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, the Salton Sea straddles two counties, both Riverside County and Imperial County. I share the Salton Sea with the Honorable Senator Ben Hueso, And so this is going to add scarce funds to get public information out there about the Salton Sea and what we're trying to do to fix it. We have this synergy going on in the state right now with the governor that's engaged, and we're going to hopefully have a public-public partnership, if you will, with the Salton Sea Authority in the state of California and fix this ecological disaster in the making that we've been talking about for 40 years, and we're finally doing something to fix it. So with that, I urge and I vote.
Okay, thank you, Senator. I think the recommendations for do pass it amended with the amendments, correct?
I beg your pardon?
You agree to the amendments, right?
Yes.
Okay, then
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
if we can have a motion. Okay, we have a motion. Call the roll, please.
Hertzberg, Wynn. Wynn, I. Bell.
Aye.
Bell, I. Hernandez. Lara, Morlock, Pavley, 2-0.
Okay, we'll hold till the remaining members get back to our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Good luck.
Appreciate your vote.
Okay. Senator Nguyen, you can present your bill. This is item 1. We'll go to that one. And this is SB 898. Senator Nguyen has her bill, so we'll allow her to present it. Senator, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am pleased to present SB 898, which provides a tax exemption for the sale of animal blood by a licensed animal blood bank. The state of California only has 2 animal blood bank establishments that hold licenses to sell animal blood for the treatment of animals. Under current law, the state recognizes human blood transfer as being exempt from the sales tax. Until recently, the state's tax agencies treated animal blood banks the same as human blood banks. Attorneys at the BOE have now decided that human and animal blood banks should be treated differently, and the transfer of animal blood should be taxed. Due to a recent BOE audit, Hemopet, a nonprofit animal blood bank in Garden Grove, was retroactively found to owe $105,000 in unpaid sales tax over a 3-year period. Hemopet has since 1986 provided much of the blood supply for animal surgeries in Southern California, particularly almost 80% in Orange County. The BOE decision could put this much-needed blood bank out of business. Many veterinarians across California and throughout the United States have contacted me in support of SB 898 and have conveyed the importance in protecting the continuous services provided by California's animal blood banks. California's 2 animal blood banks provide a large portion of California and North America's animal blood supply. SB 898 would provide that a transfer of animal whole blood, plasma, and blood products by a CDFA licensed establishment should not be subject to sales or use tax, and that any notice of determination previously levied upon them by the Board of Equalization should be canceled. Here with me today in support of SB 898 is Dr. Gene Dodds, who established Hemopet and is a world-renowned veterinarian and hematologist.
Yeah. Right.
Charles Berman, who is the general counsel of Hemopet, and Dr. Madeline Yamonte, who is the treasurer for the for the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Associations. Colleague, I ask you to help ensure that animal blood banks continue to be treated under the law the same as human blood banks, and to help protect the vital public good. At this time, I would like to ask for the witnesses to speak in support.
Please.
Hello. My original training as a veterinarian was 52 years ago, but I worked for the New York State Department of Health starting in 1965, where the statute for exempting human blood banks from any kind of sales and use tax was actually enacted. I was in charge of the blood program for humans for the state of New York in the 1980s when AIDS and blood safety became such a huge national issue. And I realized at that time, following the legislation that we did, that the country adopted, that we needed to have the same kind of Red Cross-like system for animals. And that this is a service we're providing to society, not just providing blood, but also the other welfare services for people with special needs where their animals might need blood, for example. And so we started the concept of animal blood banks. And after the Department of Food and Agriculture in California licensed our facility in 1990, we started operating Hemopet as an animal welfare program nonprofit service for animal blood products for animals, as the senator has explained. It's a huge fiscal hardship for companies like ours because we lose money every year running the blood bank. As you can imagine, 24/7 caring for animals with a high ethical, moral, medical commitment. We lose anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000 a month. Our yearly budget figures have been provided for you. You'll see we never make any money. So how do we survive? Well, I have other blood programs. I have a specialty diagnostic lab. We have a few donations. My husband and I have personally donated to keep the blood bank alive. We still are in debt. We borrowed maximum now from the banks to pay for our debt because we honestly believe that this program needs to survive to help those people with animals in the state of California and outside California that have special needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please. Others?
Go ahead.
That's right, that you told me.
My name is Dr. Madeline Yamate. I'm speaking here as not only a California small business owner, but also as a veterinarian and as a treasurer of the American Holistic Veterinary.
Microphone down a little, yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm very short. And also as the treasurer of the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association.
You're a veterinarian doctor.
Correct, I am, and I do have a clinic here in Davis, California.
Are you licensed in California?
Absolutely. So there are basically three primary reasons why I'm in strongly support of Senate Bill 898. First one being, I do agree with that our animal blood banks should be treated the same as human blood banks because the service that they do provide are critical, especially in life-threatening situations. Our animals are no longer just our beloved companions, our faithful family members. They are actually working and productive members of society. We have canine officers that put their lives on the line every single day protecting our communities, and they serve alongside their two-legged member police officers as well. We also have our service assistants and our therapy animals. So these animals...
Point of view, they're two-legged police officers.
Well, you know...
Oh, I got it. I'm new every day. That's an interesting approach.
But it is true. And our companion, our dogs that do work as assistance therapy and dogs, they provide a service to people with physical and emotional and psychological issues that prevent them from functioning, normally in society. And these animals provide a huge service to our communities as well. Not to mention that not only are our companion animals oftentimes, the things that do provide us with comfort in our own homes, but for a lot of us, they also serve as protection of our properties. Me, I stay very late at the clinic. I am the only person in the entire medical facility there, and I leave at 1 o'clock in the morning. So for me, they are also my own personal protection service. Okay. Finally, if this bill is not passed, it will place this nonprofit organization at a critical financial impact that is not at the same level as that of our California state budget. $158,000, which was the statistic that I found, right?
That's what we show.
Right, correct. That's maybe a drop or two in the bucket for the California budget. It is absolutely catastrophic.
Thank you. We only have 2 witnesses, but briefly tell us what your thoughts are.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Christina DeCaro, representing the California Veterinary Medical Association, would just say we're in strong support. These are essential products for our veterinarians.
Others in support? Opposition? I see some movement in the back of the room. Is this support or opposition? Opposition, okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Dorothy Holzem with the California State Association of Counties. We have an oppose unless amended position, which is the position we take anytime local sales tax revenue is in jeopardy. And unfortunately, while a small amount, this would create another sort of chip off the block of this important revenue source. Right. We have no problem if this bill would be limited to only affect the state share of sales tax exemption. However, because it includes all of the sales tax, including the local share, we do respectfully remain opposed at this time.
Okay, I understand that. Others in opposition? Questions from the member? Would you like to close?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just want to address a little bit about the local revenue funds that's mentioned. In 2011, that amount would be $20,000 statewide.
There's 482 subdivisions, 482 cities and 58 counties.
I just wanted to throw out the number of how very small, but I think ultimately this is important because there's only 2 blood banks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moves the bill,
I
Secretary.
respectfully ask for your vote.
You got it.
Hertzberg.
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Wynn.
Aye.
Wynn, aye. Bell. Bell, aye. Hernandez. Laura. Morlock. Havley.
We'll hold that open 3-0. Thank you kindly, Madam Vice Chair. Do we have any other, Mr. Laura's here, Wachowski, we heard, Senator Pavley's not here, Senator Wolk, Stone, we heard, all present on behalf. We have the 3 Governance and Finance Committee measures, 2 on consent, 1476 I'll present. If you want to take the gavel, Madam Vice Chair, I'll present this quickly. Hi, members. I'm here, we have 3 measures, as I said, government finance, 2 are on consent, this one wasn't. You know, we had an oversight hearing of this committee on December 9th at the California Endowment Building in Los Angeles. And at that time, at the hearing, Senator Morlock was there, we discovered that funds donated through the tax checkoff process took years to reach the intended charity as a result of an AP story that caught our attention, or even worse, ended up in state coffers. We, of course, found that unacceptable, and we promised and delivered on the hearing in Los Angeles. The legislature created this tax checkoff system in 1982 with a noble intention to make it easier for Californians to donate to charitable causes by allowing them to simply check a box on their income tax form. This measure, as I suggest, is a result of a bipartisan discussion and will streamline the current tax checkoff processes and ensure that when a taxpayer makes a donation, it spends it on the intended purpose in the intended manner. It sets a minimum of $250,000 contribution, eliminates the inflation adjustment factor, lengthens the current standard 5 years and sunset to 7 years, requires administrating agencies to post online, provides that funds shall be continuously appropriated so that the donations can reach their intended recipients years earlier, and includes the words voluntary tax contributions in the name of the fund so that the funds do not revert back to the general fund. It applies to all voluntary contributions funded or extended after January 1, 2017. Ask for your support of this measure. It was just the follow-up that we did, and on a bipartisan basis to come up with a solution. I think she's not here, but Senator Pavley had some concerns which we addressed, and I think we have some witnesses to speak in support.
Good morning, members of the committee. Funds used for these programs allow the University of California to fund research that would otherwise remain only an idea in the minds of scientists. My name is Angela Gilliard, and the University of California is in full support of this measure. The tax checkoff funds allow scientists to turn excellent ideas into reality. Since 1994, the California Breast Cancer Research Program has made California a leader among states for breast cancer research. The program is the largest, most stable state-funded breast cancer research effort in the nation. Thank you to the Governance and Finance Committee for authoring this important measure for California.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Nancy Biermeyer. I work for the Breast Cancer Fund. The Breast Cancer Fund is a national organization located in the Bay Area that works on prevention of breast cancer by looking at the environmental factors that impact the risk of breast cancer. We pride ourselves on basing what we do on a foundation of strong science. This tax checkoff program allows state taxpayers to support a number of worthy causes, but the Breast Cancer Fund is not one of those causes. But we do strongly support the California Breast Cancer Research Program, which is a longtime participant in this program. The Breast Cancer Fund advocated for the creation of the California Breast Cancer Research Program, and we've been deeply engaged in the program ever since. Our CEO, Jeannie Rizzo, has served on the council and was the former chair, and our current science director is the current chair of the committee. The work of the CBCRP is critical. They fund cutting-edge, high-impact research that often provides the best opportunity for breakthroughs. And significantly to us, they're the only funder that funds specific and with a funding focus that is on environmental factors, which is at the core of our mission. And the tax checkoff program provides significant resources to this critical work. The changes proposed by SB 1476 would allow these precious resources to remain focused on the research goals of the program. We support extending the sunset. Our actual preference would be no sunset, but we very much appreciate the extension from 5 to 7 years. We support a stable minimum of $250,000, which is significant is ample to ensure that taxpayers are interested and supportive of the program, and the continual increases in the current law particularly burden long-standing recipients like the California Breast Cancer Research Program. And we also support removing the appropriations process. From our perspective, it's a basic respect for the intent of the contributors that the money go directly to the organizations they're supporting, as opposed to through the lengthy and burdensome appropriations process. In sum, the changes proposed by SB 1476 will ensure the time and resources of the charities receiving the funding will be directed toward the activities that the taxpayers intend their money to support. We urge a yes vote, and thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Any more support?
Benito Delgado Olson. I'm the executive director of K to College, which is the organization that administers the School Supplies for Homeless Children Fund. We're very pleased to support this bill, and we also thank the chairman for taking the initiative to explore this. We were happy to assist with the special hearing you convened in Los Angeles last year. We're one of the organizations, I think, that encountered some challenges along with others that supported the creation of this fund initially, specifically with regards to the budget concept process or proposal process that can often add up to a full year before the administering agency can actually implement the program that the stated fund was designed to do, and can also increase the amount of administrative costs and overhead to that particular department. In our instance, we had to do a cleanup measure to avoid a 3-year delay and $150,000 of overhead costs, at least in the first year. And so we're very happy to see that measure here. We agree with previous comments that the sunset's another good addition, and the $250,000 minimum seems like a pretty good measure as well. So very happy to support this bill, and thanks for the opportunity.
Members, Kathy Mossberg representing the California Association of Food Banks. We are very pleased to support this measure and do appreciate the leadership on this. Our tax checkoff allows us to get needed dollars to provide food to hungry folks in California, so thank you.
Any other support? Any opposition? Support?
John Pointer, California Senior Legislature. We support this bill. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Any opposition? Seeing none. There's a motion.
I just want to say that, look, this is an interesting process. You know, we included your thoughts, Senator. I just mentioned you're out of the room on this bill, but it really was nice to have a set of fresh eyes. I mean, this was a program that started 30-some years ago. It kind of got mucked up. We saw stories of money going back to the state. We saw stories that money didn't get distributed. But I think today, with the technology, by putting stuff online, by creating transparency, it creates pressure. We saw the disharmony in terms of how the budget process works in the hearing, and how the delays in transferring the money could be literally a year or 2 years. And so I think by creating the process, creating the reporting, we kind of felt with the idea to fix it on the one hand, and the other hand to kind of get a fresh eyes on the $250,000, because a lot of them didn't make the threshold. We saw things like the food bank program, huge impacts, breast cancers, UCLA, I mean the UC system. So it works pretty well. So I feel pretty good about the cleanup on this, and ask for your support.
There is a motion, and this is due pass to appropriation. Vote call, please.
Hertzberg? Hertzberg, aye. Wynn?
Aye.
Wynn, aye. Bell? Bell, aye. Hernandez? Lara? Morlock? Pavley? Pavley, aye.
4-0 measure. We'll call that roll open. Next, File item number 4, Senator Pavley, SB 1262. Well, that last measure was due pass to appropriations. File item number 4, SB 1262, Senator Pavley. Pavley and Wachowski.
Yes, thank you, Chair Hertzberg. This is indeed a work in progress because it's detailed, substantive, but absolutely needed to marry the policies of the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act and how we move forward together in relation to access to water for new units, new buildings. And so it builds off the concept back in 2002. We remember Jim Costa and Sheila Kuehl on their Show Me the Water bills. We didn't when we passed the Sustainable Groundwater back in 2014, that act. We didn't really get into this very complex issue. We have about a month till appropriations. I think more than adequate time. I have to give kudos to my staff. Dennis O'Connor, he's had multiple meetings. I met with the BIA yesterday. I think we're very close to resolving some of the issues you've raised in comments 2 and 3 relating to cities and counties and technical reports of all water systems. Don't have the specific amendments today. And number 3 you raised in the analysis is relating to assessment after LAFCO is acted and going back, and yes, needs to be fixed. We all agree. So I'm here to tell you that the right people are in the room. Mr. O'Connor has further meetings to work on. If, of course, you're always welcome to have us represent the bill if you so choose as we move forward. We have about a month before it goes to appropriations. We can do this.
Yeah, the only thing
We can do this.
My request is, look, I know how these things go, and it's more a function of the system, and no question your staff, all the reports I get, you guys have been working together really well. There's some complicated issues, but just keep our guys involved on something like the LAFCO and some of the issues.
Absolutely.
They're experts on this, and they can help you work to some of the nits.
And I like the clever terms in your analysis, like paralysis analysis. Well, anyway, I actually enjoyed reading it, which is disturbing. So the one thing everyone agrees on is prohibiting the use of hauled water to comply with Show Me the Water. But with that, instead of getting into substantively detailed, we heard this bill in the prior committee. Many of these issues, I think the opposition will come up, and I hope they will say that we'll continue to work on it together as it moves out of this committee, but ask for your indulgence. We're going to make good use of the next several weeks.
Please. Okay. Witnesses of support.
Good morning, sorry. Chair and committee members, my name is Debbie Orrs. I'm with Community Water Center. We support this bill because we represent many communities who don't have access to safe, clean, affordable drinking water, and sometimes it's because of improper analysis on whether or not there's water available for that development. Too often it's affordable housing and low-income housing that are most impacted by the lack of analysis. So this bill will help kind of marry land use and water decisions more thoroughly. They're often not considered in tandem or at the right timing in order to consider them in tandem. This has led to unsustainable decisions and developments, well failures, subsidence, seawater acceleration from relying on groundwater too often for these developments. And this is all accelerated in the drought, endangering Californians' lives and businesses and our future water supplies. As the state grows, we really need the state to step in and legislators to step in to ensure that developments are resilient in our increasingly uncertain climate. And like I said, it's the low-income residents who are most impacted. They're the ones that we really need to be doing this analysis for. We've been working at a lot of these stakeholder meetings and working with the author's office on the amendments and changes to the bill. And one of the things that we continue to advocate for is reducing the definition of what a development is that's subject to this analysis, because right now it's at 500. which still means you could have a development of 490 that rely on private wells, which is not sustainable and not reliable in many of our basins.
Right. Thank you. I like the fact you had old school handwritten notes. It's me. Good.
Good morning, members, Chair. It's good to see you again, Senator. I last had the chance to work with you when I chaired your state desalination task force.
Oh, that's 2002.
And those recommendations are still being used today to move good projects forward and cause some revisions and ones that need a little tuning up before they proceed.
By the way, I'm coming back on those issues. Stay tuned. You saw the bill I got on
Yes,
water
sir.
energy. There's more to come.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're going to have to list your services again.
Great. I'm at your service. But 22 years.
Same pay rate you got last time.
Oh, no, that'd be better. I'm now at an NGO. I'm with the Planning and Conservation League. I'll take it. But 22 years ago, I was general manager of the El Dorado County Water Agency, and I had the opportunity to oversee the development of the first county-wide water assessment in the state. Now, I had one part-time engineer doing this. He had the state-of-the-art data processing equipment available to him. That was an IBM 386 computer. Do you remember that with the 5 1/4-inch floppy disks?
Yep. They were $10,000 they cost.
You know, that was before we even had the internet, graphic user interfaces, the cloud, all that sort of stuff, but it worked. It was not an overwhelming workload. Fast forward to 2001, enactment of the Show Me the Water bills. The original worked pretty well. At that time, I was Deputy Director of California Department of Water Resources, and I shared the responsibility for one of the major oversights in that legislation, and that was how it did not give adequate attention to groundwater. That was partly on my watch. And what have we learned since? Well, groundwater makes up 40% of our water supplies on average. In dry years, much more. Now, SB 1262 is your chance to correct that oversight. We urge your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Others in support?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, Bob Reeb with Reeb Government Relations on behalf of Desert Water Agency and the Valley Ag Water Coalition. We're a bit of a tweener, but if we're talking history, I remember sitting at a table with a young gentleman named Robert Hertzberg when we rewrote Cortese Knott's Hertzberg.
Yeah.
And again, on the Show Me the Water legislation. So, yeah, so our clients feel that this legislation is very important with respect to groundwater and growth.
Your whole agency's groundwater. Your Palm Springs, you got all that water coming off the mountains, and you got the best water in the state.
Yeah, well, we're state water contractors, so we exchange out of the Delta with Metropolitan Water District, and we take Colorado River water to keep those basins full. We concur with the committee consultants' analysis and the two issues relating to LAFCO timing. Yeah. We believe, though, that the technical report is very important, and we think it matches with the Code of Regulations in California with respect to analysis of new water systems. I don't think it's necessary to do it where we have an existing public water system, but where we're creating something out of whole cloth. We think a professional engineer with experience in drinking water needs to do that analysis. So we're happy to work with the author and the committee going forward. We like to see the bill move today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time. Any further in support? Any opposition? Oh, I'm sorry.
Real quick, I'm also speaking for Sierra Club, Clean Water Action, and Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability in support of the bill.
Good. Excellent. Any opposition to this measure? To this work in progress?
Thank you.
It's not a measure yet, but the author's diligently working, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Cruz on behalf of the California Building Industry Association. And as you indicated, we are working closely with Senator Pavley and Dennis O'Connor. They've been great. We've had several meetings to discuss our concerns. And I think in general, I think we're okay with the idea of incorporating the sustainable groundwater management plans into the land use process. I think where it happens is important. We're not too keen on putting it into CEQA. We think there are several checkpoints in that process, but we do think as it relates to permitting of new systems, the Water Board should have a role in that. And so we're discussing the structure of that with the Senator's office. I think the other remaining issues they mentioned were already included in the analysis, which is the circular CEQA process that doesn't allow, it's impossible to complete it because of the timing, and it sounds like they're going to address that. The other issue I would just quickly mention as the probationary basins is the way it's written, there's some water that it's off use in terms of long-term planning for our projects if it's in a probationary status. I think our concern there is we don't have the authority or the responsibility to implement those plans, but the repercussions are to hold up development. So we just want to make sure that the responsible parties are there.
Mechanics.
That's right.
It's not policy. The notion that the senator's getting to in the bill doesn't seem objectionable. It's just, you know, as Mies van der Rohe, the great architect, said, God's in the details.
You nailed it.
That's where you're focused.
That's it. Great. And we look forward to continuing to work with her.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, members, Jason Ryan, League California Cities. We actually are not opposed.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, shocker. We do have some
for lunch. I'll take you out. I can't believe this.
we do have some concerns, which we've sent to the author's office, but we appreciate her working with us. And like the senator said, we have a month, and we're hopeful we'll get there.
Good.
And again, it's the
Just
mechanics,
work hard.
not the policy.
Thank you so much. I'm just giving you our time.
And that's the
Here every day.
technical reports issue.
That's all it is. I know. I'm listening. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, Pamela Miller, representing the State Association of LAFCOs. We too are not opposed to the bill. We actually have not taken a position one way or the other. I do want to acknowledge and thank the author and Dennis for their ongoing communication, gathering the stakeholders. They've been very easy to work with in terms of sharing our concerns, which is primarily around what's already been discussed, is the circular CEQA issue and making sure that the LAFCOs have all of the information necessary prior to making their decision. So
excellent.
We thank you for your continued outreach.
That's the concept.
Okay. Opposition? Any other opposition? Any questions from the members? Bill's been moved by Senator Laura. And just the only thing is just, look, it's clear that we're really into the details of the technical stuff. The underlying policy architecture makes sense. I don't think anybody objects to that. And we just, we get some experts. Do you have any thoughts? Oh, this is due pass to appropriations. Due pass to appropriations. Secretary call the roll.
Hertzberg?
Aye.
Hertzberg, aye. Wynn? Wynn, no. Bell? Bell, aye. Hernandez? Laura? Aye. Laura, aye. Morlock? Morlock, no. Pavley?
Aye.
Pavley, aye.
4-2, hold it open. Thank you kindly, Senator. Senator Laura, you got something up. SB 958, file item number 2. And all we need is Senator Walk, and then we'll call the consent and everybody else.